Right. Good evening, everybody. Time is 6:30. We will go ahead and open up open public comment. Views expressed by individuals during public comment do not necessarily reflect the views of the city of Fremont, have not been verified for accuracy by the city. As a reminder, city council and staff are not permitted to respond to comments or questions during the public comment period in accordance with Fremont Municipal Code Section 2-103. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall not contain topics included on this evening's agenda. So if you are here and wish to speak during open public comment, please come up to the front over here and sign in, and we will call on you. And there's also a box for comment cards if you wish to speak that way. So again, this will be from 6:30 to 7 o'clock.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Bill Campbell is our first speaker tonight. We've had a request from the audience to ask folks to speak into the microphone if they could, please.
Yes, it is.
Okay, all of you should have got a copy of that letter. I brought my own timer. Okay, I'm concerned about the traffic on South Howard between First Street and Donna Street. Ever since Donna Street was opened up, the traffic has quadrupled and maybe even more than that. And I've got a motorcyclist, 2 of them, that I've seen go up my street. They had to be going 40 or maybe 50 miles an hour. Something has to be done because there's going to be more traffic when these duplexes and apartments go down there. There's nothing down there yet except people who already live on Donna Street. And there have been some close, accidents down there. Luckily, the people were going slow enough that they could stop. And my main window in my living room opens up to this street, so I see all those speeders. So I don't know what you're going to do about it, but maybe if I were a town policeman, I'd sit down there all day and just stop people, and I'd make sure they paid a fine. I mean, that can't go on. Because on both sides of Howard Street, from First down to Donna, there are sections that do not have sidewalks. So when the kids come home from Howard Street, they don't go across the street so they can get on another sidewalk. They just go down into the street and walk down the street. And that's the same situation from First Street down to Donna Street. The sidewalks are not in every place. Okay, I'm done.
Mr. Mayor, our next speaker is Ron Vlock.
Ron Block, 1500 West Military, Fremont. Got 2 issues. Number 1, the dam the city built at the west substation. My farmer gave up on this already, can't plant around it, it's full of water. Nobody seems to be wanting to talk to me about it. Number 2, the culverts, the city officials told the contractor to cover up. This has been going on for 9 months. This is the 3rd time you have listened to me on this. I was told twice by 3rd floor, someone will call you in the morning. Never happened. No one's ever called me. When you make a mistake, admit it, fix the problem, and go on. That's called transparency. Someone needs a pink slip. Thank you for listening.
I did golf. Morning, early, we play like 9 and 10. You know what? It's gonna be hard. We got the early teacher, we could with 8 o'clock. Well, we'll play 9 and we'll decide after that. Well, we were done. I was a little bit concerned. I had sort of public, but gorgeous, but it wasn't terrible. I mean, never gonna make any money out of it anyway. They put enough, feedback, but that broke it. Like everything. Release hogs, huh? Close together. Yeah, the little 1.3 today, so it's all about. Build a bear thing. That's my like roundabout way. No, you're thinking of me. Yeah, no. Yeah, well, that's yeah, it's the hardest part. Hard. I don't know. Oh, sure. Yeah, it's not too soon to come down. Well, yeah. It was been. Huh? Oh, yeah. Oh. Spend a whole lot of time. Yeah. Debbie likes. Really? Oh, okay. Last 4 meetings, that's okay. Oh, and Larry. We're trying to shiver. Yeah. You're finished. Yeah, yeah. Are we going out with 5, 4 months at probably not, but. Yeah. Casinos. Oh.
All right, time is 7 o'clock. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll go ahead and open up the Board of Equalization meeting and call it to order. The time is 7 o'clock. The Opens Meeting Act is posted on the back wall next to the agendas. This time we will have roll call for the Board of Equalization.
Eight members are present, Mayor.
Item 1 under public hearing is Resolution 2025-140 levying a special tax and assessments for Jack Sutton Sidewalk, side 24 in the amount of $57,039.51. Troy Shaven will do our staff report.
Troy Shaven, city engineer. This is the process to actually levy the cost of the sidewalk on the north side of Jack Sutton Drive. The assessment amount was $57,039.51. That amount is based on linear footage of the property. The city and the other adjacent property owners split the cost of the assessment based on front footage that's abutting sidewalk. That percentage was, I think it was about 56-40, 54-46. But basically the developer's amount comes out to the 57,039.51. That is payable in a 7-year loan at 7% interest that starts after 10 days in yearly increments. If it's not paid off, if the first 1/7 is not paid off by the first year's billing, then the amount that's past due goes to 14%, but it's basically a 7% loan over 7 years.
Thank you. Any questions for staff on this item? Councilman Horner.
Thank you, Mayor. What would happen if they paid it off early?
Then they would pay the amount and there would be no interest. They have 10 days to pay it off with no interest. And then after 10 days, the 7% starts on the amount due. It's not 7% on the first year, day one. It's amortized, you know, it's like whatever 7% is divided by 365. It's every day. So they would just pay what's due up until then. If they paid it off in full, or they paid it off in full, it would be what's due to that point, whatever the interest accrued to that point was.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff on this item? I'll now open the public hearing. Okay, seeing no comments, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any additional comments from council? Councilman Vaughn,
If no other comments, I'd make a motion to approve.
Councilman Jensen,
And I will second.
cast your votes.
That motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Councilman Jensen,
Motion to adjourn.
Councilman Sukram,
Second?
cast your votes.
That motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
We are adjourned. I'll go ahead and open up the city council regular meeting and call it to order. Time is 7:04. The Opens Meeting Act is posted on the back wall next to the agendas. This time we'll have roll call for the city council regular meeting.
8 members are present, Mayor.
For my comments tonight, I would like to recognize the June 2025 Service Awards. We have 5 individuals. Aaron Howe, 25 years of service. Aaron was hired as a police officer in 2000. He was promoted to his current role as police detective in 2008. Calvin Pospisil, 25 years of service. Calvin was hired as a building electrical inspector with the city of Fremont in 2000 and 2014. Calvin was promoted to building inspector 2. Calvin transferred to the position of engineering associate with the transmission and distribution department in 2017. Then in 2018, he was promoted to his current role as a senior engineering associate. Kristen Klingsick, 10 years of service. Kristen started with the Department of Utilities as an accountant in 2015. In 2023, she was promoted to senior accountant. She was promoted to her current role as assistant director of finance in 2024. We have Dorlissa Byer, 10 years of service. Dorlissa has been with the city of Fremont as a library assistant 2 since 2015. And Dorlissa is here. Would you please come up and accept your service award for 10 years of service? Thank you. And finally, we have Robert Morris, 5 years of service. Rob started with the gas system worker 1 in 2020. He was promoted to his current role as gas system worker 2 in 2023. Is Rob here in the audience? I don't think he is. Okay. I want to thank all 5 of those individuals for their service to the city of Fremont. A couple of 25s, 2 10s, and 5. It's amazing commitment. So I want to thank them. Let's give this group another round of applause. Concludes my comments. We'll go on to item 1, which is a motion to adopt the current agenda for the June 24th, 2025 City Council regular meeting. Do we have any changes proposed to the agenda? Councilwoman Lathrop.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to remove item number 2 under public hearings on ordinance 5719, updating the articles 2 through 5 of the UDC. We'd like to table that until we receive the UDC in its entirety.
Councilman Jensen.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. This would be a motion to remove item 2, table it until we receive full UDC.
The motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Okay. Are there any other changes to the agenda being proposed tonight? If there are not, I would take a motion to approve the agenda as amended with the removal of item 2. Councilman Vaughn.
So moved.
Councilman Jensen.
Second.
The motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Moving on to the consent agenda. All items in the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda by council or staff?
Mr. Mayor, Jody Sanders, City Administrator, we'd like to pull for just a little bit of conversation, number 8.
Okay. Any other items from council or staff? Are there any items from the public? Seeing no other items, I would take a motion to approve the consent agenda items 3 through 7, 9 through 17. Councilman Vaughn.
So moved.
Councilman Horner.
Second.
Cast your votes.
The motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Item 8 is resolution 2025-144, authorizing the mayor to sign the section 5311 agreement. This is for grant assistance to purchase a Ford Transit van in the amount of $84,657 with a 10% local match. We do have Dakota here, the transit program.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So an opportunity came up to purchase a Ford Transit vehicle, which is a much larger vehicle than we currently have with our minivans. The cost breakdown is in the staff report, and the funds to cover this purchase will come from the city's general fund.
And Mr.
Go
Mayor, if I
ahead.
could, the point of pulling it is to make sure that council understands that there would be a transfer from the general fund reserves over to the transit, because this is an item that was being considered and requested in the 2026 budget with the State Department of Transportation. But this one, as the staff report says, became available earlier. And so Jen and I talked earlier today, and she just wanted to make sure that you were aware that we're spending reserves to the tune of $8,000.
Councilman Horner.
Thank you, Mayor. Either one of you can answer the question. I just want to, it's more to point it out. Yes, we're spending reserves, but we have an opportunity here to get a vehicle that we're paying 10% of the cost for. The state's paying 10% and the feds are paying 80%. And it would be, in my opinion, a little foolish for us to pass that up. How did we come, I'm just kind of curious, how did we come across this, how did we spot it?
So another community had ordered this vehicle but backed out of the deal. Then I was approached by the state if we were interested in said vehicle. And of course I said yes, as it was explained to me by the state that this particular vehicle's had some manufacturing issues and able to produce said vehicle. She said if we were to pass on this vehicle, that it could be years down the line before we'd be able to obtain one.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the council? Is there anybody from the public here to speak on this item? Seeing not, I would take a motion on this. Councilman Horner.
I will make the motion to approve this.
Councilman Sukram.
I'll second.
Okay, cast your votes on resolution 2025-144.
That motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Moving on to unfinished business is ordinance 5717, annexing property generally located south of Morningside Road and east of South Luther Road. This is second reading of the annexation. Is there any additional staff report on this item? Okay. Is there any comments from the public on this? Is there any additional comments from council? If there are none, I would take a motion. This is to hold second reading of the annexation. Councilman Horner.
I'll make the motion to hold it second reading of ordinance 5717.
Councilman Sukram.
I'll second.
Cast your votes.
That motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Item 9, oh, sorry, we'll have second reading.
Ordinance number 5717, an ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, annexing by voluntary petition property generally located south of Morningside Road and east of South Luther Road, Dodge County, Nebraska, and extending the corporate limits to include said real estate, providing for repeal of ordinance in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second read.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 19 is ordinance 5718, annexing property located at Hills Farm, generally described as a portion of tax lot 2 in the northeast quarter of section 35, township 7 north, range 8 east, and a portion of tax lot 3 located in the northwest quarter of section 36, township 17 north, range 8 east of the 6 p.m. This is second reading. Again, we've had a staff report on our first reading about this. This is the annexation for Hills Farm. And you see the subdivision item 20. This would be for second reading of the annexation. So are there any additional comments or questions from council on this? Are there any comments from the public on this? There's no additional comments from council. I would take a motion to hold second reading. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make a motion on ordinance 5718, second reading.
Councilwoman Ganem.
I'll second.
Cast your votes. Second reading.
The motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
We'll have second reading.
Ordinance number 5718, ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, annexing by voluntary petition property generally described as portion of tax lot 2 located in the northeast quarter of section 35, township 17 north, range 8 east, and a portion of tax lot 3 located in the northwest quarter of section 36, township 17 north, range 8 east of the 6 p.m. Dodge County, Nebraska, and extending the corporate limits to include said real estate, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second read.
Move on to item 20, which is resolution 2025-138, authorizing the mayor to sign the Hills Farm first subdivision agreement. Go ahead, Travis.
Thank you, Mayor. Travis Jaycott, City Attorney. This is an item continued from the last meeting. The staff report explains that this is a first addition to a subdivision that was initially created in August of 2024. This was associated with the final plat that was approved at the last meeting. So this is approving this as a condition of that final plat getting signed and recorded. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for legal on the subdivision agreement for Hills Farm? Okay. Are there any comments from the public on this item? Are there any additional comments from council? If there are none, I would take a motion. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-138.
Councilman Jensen.
And I will second.
Cast your votes.
That motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Moving on to new business is item 21, Councilmember Vaughn item to reconsider resolution 2025-096, authorizing a special designated license and use of the Ilgen Fritz parking lot for July 11th and July 12th, 2025. And So Councilman Vaughn, you want to go ahead and open and to reconsider? We would need to take a vote to reconsider it, so go ahead.
Well, I would like to make that motion to go ahead and reconsider the issue in its entirety. Should I explain now or just wait for the vote?
I think you can now.
Okay, so just generally speaking, the beer garden, it's kind of been known over the years, it's kind of been taken over by private entities to keep that action going and to keep it in a state where it can operate, because John C. Fremont Days has been in positions where they haven't been able to. And we've been going, and I'll use the term loosely, we've been rocking and rolling till at least midnight. And in subsequent previous years, when I was a youngin', even past then till 1 a.m., as I've been told. And so I found it pretty reasonable that we can extend 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. in an effort to provide a more conducive community-wide event, and to, it keeps in tradition with what we've been used to and we've accommodated in years past. And I do understand that maybe there's a representative here from the committee that could speak to this item. You would?
Dave Cephas, owner of the door. Yeah, I know, I believe it just changed last year to 11. I know we came up here last year and talked to you guys about this as well. I'm not sure who brought it up, but they asked us to move the stage back so it's facing the other direction, so we're not keeping people up past 11 o'clock, and we did that. I don't know if there was any complaints on that or not, but we did that and it seemed to go pretty well. So yeah.
Thank you very, very much for that. I do have one question. In the paperwork, there seems to be a little bit of a conflict. I see your original application indicating an 11 p.m. quit time for the noise with, all the way to 6 a.m. grace period for cleaning up. And then the secondary, it says that the event end time is indicated to be 1 a.m. So I was looking for a little clarification there. We're trying to play music till midnight.
Correct.
And then clean up after, right?
Correct. Yep. We'll have the band till midnight, and then that gives us an hour cushion to get everybody off the property or, into the bar from there, and
And you
give
can
us
still
time to clean
reserve
up.
the right to in that cleanup until 6 in the morning, whatever it takes.
Yeah, because the next day we have the barbecue competition, so that whole parking lot is already closed off for that weekend. So
I would ask for the council's consideration and applicants here for any questions if you have.
Councilman Jensen?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to reconsider the item. So go ahead and cast our vote to reconsider.
The motion carries 7-1, Mayor.
Okay, now we're back on the original item, and I just would open it up to council if they have any comments. Councilman Horner.
Thank you, Mayor. Would you be open to clarifying of if we were to pass this tonight, which I have no problem doing? Would you be open to us doing that with an amendment just to clarify that the music's going to stop at midnight?
yes.
How about you?
Councilman Jensen.
I guess my only other question is now during the Hispanic festival, are they going to come to us? Are they going to want the same thing? I've got no problem with that, but just to understand that this probably won't be the only one.
Councilman Von Baron.
Yeah, I think that it's the same concern. We've voiced this before. Fundamentally, this is a little different, but the same. It's still an exception, and it's drawing lines and trying to be clear on policy.
Councilwoman Lathrop.
As I recall, I think the issue with the Hispanic festival was the noise, but I think that went way later than midnight. It was like 1 or 2 or something. So I think midnight is acceptable.
Okay, are there anybody else here to speak on this item this evening from the public? Any other questions or comments from council on this item? So to move forward, we would need to make a motion if you wish to amend it, to amend the original item with the change from 11 to 12 o'clock with the music ending at midnight. That's what would need to happen.
Yep, that's my intention and so moved.
Councilman Jensen?
And to Blair's, do we also need to amend to where do we get something in writing, something down as far as,
Yeah, I would
that's
like
all in
to.
there, all right, then I'll second.
Yeah, I'd like to move to approve the motion with the amendment that the music ends.
Okay, that would be a motion to amend, so cast your votes.
That motion carries 7-1, Mayor.
Okay, so now I would need a motion to approve the item as amended. Councilman Horner.
I will make a motion to approve this item as amended.
Councilman Sucro.
I'll second.
That motion carries 7-1, Mayor.
All right, moving on to item 22 is resolution 2025-143 for architecture contract to design the new satellite and headquarter fire station with FMG Architects and approve projects authorizations number 1, number 2, number 3, the amount of $814,120. We'll have staff report here. We have Chief Burnt.
Todd Burnt, Fire Chief. Back in January, we started advertising for requests for proposals, for soliciting proposals from qualified firms for the architectural and engineering services related to the design and construction of a new satellite in fire station headquarters. We received 11 proposals. We did have a selection committee. We evaluated them. We did some reference checks. We end up interviewing the top 2, and with that, FGM Architects was selected to move forward. What you see in front of you are several items. The real main one is a master agreement between the city and FGM Architects. This will be for all architectural and engineering services for the satellite and the new fire station headquarters. There's also several project authorizations. The first one, and all this is associated just with the satellite station. So all these fees are just associated with the satellite. Once we start the construction of the satellite, we'll get back into the design phase for the new headquarters. And at a later date, that's when we come back to council to approve those fees. The first project authorization is for pre-design phase programming, and the amount of that is $39,910. Project authorization number 2 is design phase, design development, construction document, the bidding phase, and along with landscape services, that total will be $619,210. Then the last one, project authorization 3, is construction administration, and those total costs are $157,000. With that being said, we do have a rep from FGM Architects, Brandon Harton, so he'll actually be the project manager for this project. So if you have any questions of me or him, we'll leave it up to you.
Thank you, Chief. Councilman Horner.
I just got one quick comment, no question, because I already asked my questions in email, and I just wanted to publicly thank you for promptly responding, and you answered it very succinctly, and I'm just happy to get this going.
Yeah, me too.
Any other questions or comments for Chief Burnt? Anybody here to speak on this item? The architect firm would like to come up and address the council. That'd be great.
Brennan Harton, FGM Architects.
thank you all for having me, and glad to be in your town. So just want to say how pleased and happy we are to have made the introduction with Chief Burnt, and how excited we are to move this project forward. And hopefully we're doing that after today. In fact, truth be told, we kind of kickstarted this thing hours earlier in the programming meeting. I sat down with this crew, and this is really a passion of what we do. It's one of our core markets, in the municipal market. We do nothing but publicly or state or federally funded projects. We do not do development work. We do not do healthcare. This is our bread and butter. This is what we do, our passion. If I'm going to leave cards with whoever needs it, the back side of our card will say, "We build community." It's kind of our FGM's motto. And that's why I've been there, gosh, now for over 18 years myself, and the last 15 specifically in this municipal market, and very heavily in the fire and first responder project types, because it just aligns perfectly with who I am, and the customer service that we bring to the table. So Chief's only starting to see all the talent and faces behind the scenes that we have, but we do bring a lot of experience in the fire market specifically. And we all have a very passionate core team that will be bringing this project forward. But as good and as talented as we feel we are, and experienced this 100%, and I cannot stress enough, is Fremont's fire department station. It's going to have to fit their culture, their operation styles, and that's what we're going to bring forward. We're going to challenge, we're going to ask the questions as we need to, but we want it to fit not only your city, but more importantly, how the fire department needs to handle response times, calls, and their actions. So thank you all for being here. I will say in the agenda, and I apologize for not catching this sooner, it does say FMG. Our company is FGM Architects too. So I just, if that could get amended in the final minutes, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Questions from the council? Councilman Peterson.
Maybe this has been discussed earlier, but we have, and it's definitely a need. So I'm excited. So it looks like we got the best people on it. Do we have any kind of a timeline, time window? I mean, I realize this is a ballpark.
Sure.
But
Yeah, and everything at this stage is dependent on kind of the phases before, and
Sure.
staying to that. But
Sure.
I thought that would probably be a question. So let me pull out that schedule, which I've broken down, and a lot of this worksheet was developed, in fact, to put things like our travel times and to really format and make sure I'm advising myself in person meetings as many times as thought here. But the pre-design or programming phase, we'd be looking to basically the end of July,
okay.
somewhere about there. Then we would get into our true kind of work on the station and design and production. That would put schematic design through, let's say, the bidding phase. If everything stays true to that schedule, would be bidding in late April of 2026. Now, keep in mind, we're just the architects on this
Sure,
too. So
sure.
there will be, in fact, I think it's on the agenda here to layer on a construction manager portion to this too. So everything's still not only down to our production timeline staying on track, making sure we're getting the designs approved in timely fashions, but making sure the construction manager is seeing our designs staying within budget, and if there's no kind of working back on any of that. So, but yeah, April of 26, say late spring of 26 is when we would actively look to go out for bid. A station of this size, and again, I'm speaking from more common knowledge of St. Louis area winters, so it could have some impact, but we would say a year to 13 months.
Okay.
Thereabout, again, in approximates would be kind of a typical construction schedule for
Okay.
a
So
station
maybe
house.
20 months from now, maybe, hopefully.
Yep.
Okay.
Hope to
All right.
see all of you still at the
Okay.
ribbon
Well, this is
cutting.
exciting. This is
Yeah.
exciting. I'm anxious to see it go forward.
I also want to add that in part of the schedule, we will have a community engagement where we'll sit down. I think he's going to have some designs and stuff like that. And we'll invite the community in for any feedback. And I think that's scheduled sometime like in November.
Good.
So we'll probably be reaching out to the whole community to come and see what
Good.
what's being developed.
Good deal.
Any other questions from the council? Thank you both for being here, for your information. Look forward to seeing progress on this project.
I'm going to leave a couple cards. So thanks.
Right. Are there anybody else from the public here to speak on this? Any additional comments from council? There aren't, I would take a motion. Councilman Sukram.
I'll make the motion to approve resolution 2025-143.
Councilwoman Ganem.
Second.
Cast your votes.
That motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Councilman Jensen.
I will make the motion to adjourn.
Councilman Sukram.
Second.
Cast your votes.
That motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
We are adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.